everyone, Kim here with Tabletop Rebellion, and we have gone to the future. We've got flying cars, personal AIs, and unhinged wannabe scientists brewing up custom viruses from the privacy of their own home. How fun! Have no fear. We're part of the team who responds to these kinds of outbreaks. We've totally got this under control. What? Oh, we have 3 minutes left to save the world? Roberts, come on, man. Would you stop fooling around and get that structure built? We're running out of time. Join us as we show you For Science. For Science is a real-time cooperative card and dexterity game. In it, you work with other players or in solo mode to design and build cures to save the world in 15 minutes or less. Within the game, there are 3 different areas you'll be working in to create the designs you then have to build. Succeed in the build to earn points and purchase master cure tiles. We're going to explain each area on its own, but keep in mind, everything will be happening simultaneously while the clock is ticking when you play. I also want to mention this game just wrapped up its campaign on Kickstarter, so what you're seeing today is a prototype of the finished game. So some icons or maybe even aspects of the game could be a little different in the final version that you receive. Before we head into the lab, we need to choose our persona for the game. Now, each player has a special player power and a different workshop where they may conduct some of their own research. And the game offers a lot of different personas to choose from with a wide variety of abilities. A lot of replayability here, lots of fun choices. Let's first go to the lab and check out where you'll be developing your cures. To start the game, you'll place a disease card in each lab. Now, these cards indicate requirements that your cure must have within them while you build it. For example, the disease card in Lab Alpha requires that each design card has a purple cylinder or a yellow block be included. So any card that we play above the lab in this area in our design build has to have one of those elements on it. You'll see that each lab has a requirement for the design length at the top. So Lab A must be at least 3 cards long and it'll have 1 mutation to start. Our current mutation requires that our design also include a yellow and green piece that have to touch somewhere within our plans. Lab Beta only requires that the design be 3 cards in length and does not currently have a mutation, but you could end up with one later. Lab Gamma only requires your design to be 2 cards in length. So as you complete plans, you'll gain data and knowledge points. The data points are represented by the microscope icon, and the knowledge is represented with books. And you'll earn these points to buy those master cure tiles, but we'll get to those in just a little bit. Players will take turn drawing 1 card and then trying to play it either in the lab, on their personal workshop, or you have to waste it. Now be careful, because too many waste cards means too much research has been wasted, and it would bring another mutation into your diseases. Now you do have an option to clear this board by spending 1 data point that you've earned for completing a design build. However, you can immediately lose the game if you trigger another mutation and there's nowhere on the board to place it. While it may seem simple to complete design builds, you have to take into consideration the elements that you are combining, as those will become a 3-dimensional structure that you have to build in the next step. Now, once you believe you've met the requirements for a design build, another player has to validate your research, meaning they're going to need to come in, check, and make sure that the design that's been created meets all of the lab, the disease, and the mutation requirements that were there on the board. Once verified, you can start building. Now, this verification can trigger an event card, and that can be anything from an emergency evacuation, where players actually have to leave the room for 10 seconds, or where builders have to drop another piece on the structure that they're building from 4 inches above it. Make it through whatever event hits, and then follow the pattern on the design cards. You'll be stacking pieces on top of each other, and only having specific ones touch. Typically, you have to build this structure without help from any other player. Now, there are a few mutation and event cards that may allow for some help, but those are going to vary, and you never know when they're going to come up. Here is where it really matters how complicated you may have made the design build. So once you succeed in building your structure, it has to be verified by another player and deemed correct and complete, just like the plans were. Now you'll earn data and knowledge based off of the cards that were in your design build. You'll earn additional knowledge points based on what lab you were building in, and the mutation and disease cards may earn or subtract points from your total. So for example, had we built using the plans in lab beta, we'd have scored 3 data from the cards, and then those numbers are indicated in the corners of the card, as you'll see. We also scored 2 knowledge from building just in this lab. Now you'll see that our disease actually has a -4 data in the bottom left-hand corner. So that completely wipes out all the data that we earned on the cards. So we only end up with 2 knowledge from this build. So it's certainly something to consider when you're making those plans. Now, you use these points to buy master cure tiles. These tiles all have parts of the yellow, blue, and red viruses with various numbers of insight icons on them. Now, players will try to arrange these tiles into completed virus configuration. To acquire these points, you have to call a team meeting where everyone stops what they're working on and then agree, and you adjust the points for the team. The amount of points needed to win the game will vary by the number of players. However, the 15-minute time limit does not change. Put all of those sections together and you are right in the middle of saving the world. This is a fast-paced, sometimes chaotic game. You have to work together as a team if you want to have any chance of beating the clock and earning enough points to eradicate the virus. It's going to come down to the wire every time. We had 5 seconds to spare in our game and we just made it. There's a lot of different things to enjoy, and believe it or not, the stress of it might be one of them. It absolutely keeps you coming back to try, beat your time from the last time you played, or to beat your score from a previous game. You're always trying to do it better, do it faster. It seems like there's a lot of moving parts, and yeah, there is, but it all comes together really, really well. I honestly had no idea how we'd even come close to accomplishing all the objectives, but we did. And it worked. We certainly have not won the game every single time. We've only won a few times, honestly, but that just makes the wins that more satisfying. So head over to Gray Fox Games to learn more about how to get yourself a copy of For Science. Hey, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. To catch up on the latest games we're playing, be sure to follow us over on social media, and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you can see how we're bringing people together one game at a time.